It's nice to be able to get out of the house again. As soon as lockdown was over, I was straight to the pub for a few pints. Oh, it's so lovely to have a beer again. But, you know, I should really go home soon, you know, get a nice cup of tea and put my feet up and... Wait, what the... There's anime circles?
Man just disappear like boom.
Huh? What the? This ain't the pub. Where's my beer? Where the hell am I?
Greetings, Schmoogle. You're in the same world as always. Rising World.
Huh? Who are you? Where are you? I can't see nobody here. I just see what looks like a half-built temple and no workmen. Just... what the hell is going on?
Be patient, my child, and I shall explain. The world in which you build has been updated yet again. Your life is now in high definition.
High definition? Is that like prettier and stuff? You sure this is the same world? I don't remember colours being this vibrant. Wait, did I get hit by a truck on my way home?
No, you are not dead, and nor are you dreaming. You have been bestowed with the gift of enhanced construction. Now stop asking silly questions and go forth and build, my child. Build!
Well, hello there, folks. I think I might have eaten a little bit too much cheese last night. But anyway, here we are in the game, and there is so much to cover that it makes my head explode. It took a few days before I could even think of making any form of video, partly to get used to the new systems, but also because I basically forgot to press record because I was too carried away building and experimenting. Right, where to start? I mean, everything has changed beyond recognition, and I definitely mean that in a good way. We now have several new block shapes, including hollow cylinders, which are absolutely amazing for making anything from tunnels to teacups. They're also used to make the roof tiles that are on screen right now. Another cool trick with the cylinders is to hide a lantern inside of them and block off one end, and that creates a spotlight. There's also rounded blocks, which are basically cubes with soft edges. These are really good for things like beams, bricks, paving slabs, etc. And did I mention that everything can now be scaled in 3 dimensions? Well, it can. If you've got a ramp, you turn it into a right-angled triangle. A sphere becomes an egg, and yeah, I think you'll get the idea. I will leave an image of the block shape menu up for a while rather than explaining each and every one. A further notable addition is the pillar block. I used to have to use a lot of planks to be able to make a detailed pillar, but now we have it out of the box. It also works very nicely as a sun motif when flattened. It's safe to say that the new shape selection has opened up a lot of possibilities that would have been close to impossible before. There is already a huge range of textures, ranging from wood, bricks and stones through to shiny marble and metals. What's more, the paint roller can be used on blocks to dye them after they've been placed. Another reason to make use of the scale function. I would probably go insane if I was trying to paint a wall with hundreds of individual blocks. I haven't tried every single texture just yet, but the ones I have done look awesome. They are full materials, meaning they have normal maps and are properly responsive to light. Building has changed a lot from the original. We can still technically build with blocks if the scale is left at default and the grid is at maximum size. But why would you want to use hundreds of blocks in a wall when each one can scale to 32 units in each direction? Possibly more if you're using the console. However, aside from setting creative mode and the time, the new context menu does away with the need for most console use. If you press C while holding a block, you get a radial menu pop up. From there you can set scale, movement and rotation precision, as well as choose between manual and automatic pivot mode, which I will explain in more detail later on. The other buttons are there to save block presets and change the scaling of the textures. I haven't really used these very much yet, but they seem to work as intended. Okay, so snapping and pivots. With modular snapping enabled, you'll see little dots on the corners, and in the centre of the block you have targeted. These are the snapping points. It's kinda hard to explain the system, but it's pretty intuitive once you get used to it. At times it can be a little unpredictable, and you may need to manually rotate your item to get it to match properly. There are two modes, manual and automatic. For most purposes, automatic is fine. It snaps to the closest point and tries to put things in the right direction. As I say, you might have to do some additional rotation depending on how you want the things to be joined together. I would say just experiment with it. It's better seen in action than having it explained fully. This would be the closest to the functionality of the original game for snapping planks, poles and beams together. Here's the thing though, we no longer have separate planks and beams. A block can become anything when freed of the constraints of grids and the default size, and as such will serve as a plank, beam or massive board. For more precise tasks, there is the manual pivot mode. With this enabled, you can cycle through the individual points on an item using comma and period. This is particularly nice for making awkwardly shaped things. If the pivot is set to the end of the object you are placing, you can scale it from that point, meaning that you can set one end exactly in place, then scale it up to meet at the other end without having to worry about being centered and jiggling it about several times to get it into the right position. I won't lie though, I mean the system is a little bit finicky at times and takes a bit of getting used to. However, it's well worth persisting with it, because once you get the hang of how it works, it becomes a very powerful tool indeed. There's one feature that I haven't even mentioned yet, and it's possibly the most exciting one of the lot. If you press right alt when you have a block equipped, you can change from the usual movement mode to an offset mode. This allows you to shrink or grow one end of a block as well as move that face. This allows for a near infinite number of shapes. For instance, you can turn a block into a wedge without a tip, or turn a cylinder into a cone. And if you're, say, using the hollow cylinder, it's perfect for tower roofs or lampshades. But you have to make sure to tap right alt again once you have the correct shape, or you'll be stuck in offset mode and be looking around confused as to why you can't move or rotate anything. But then again, if you need to reset the shape of the block, you'll have to be in offset mode for shift and backspace to work. Offset mode is particularly nice when building curves and arches with individual bricks. There's a fair bit of trial and error involved to get the correct dimensions, but it will allow for some very realistic door trims and curbs. Another lovely convenience feature is the ability to change block shapes from your inventory. Simply right-click on them and it brings up a menu. I don't know if that will also work in survival mode at a later date. Anyhow, that's a basic overview of the building update. In closing, I have to say that I'm extremely happy with the progress that's been made so far. The selection of shapes is absolutely amazing and it has most things covered. Although, perhaps it'd be nice to get some junctions to go with the hollow cylinders so as to be able to make tunnel networks, and also half and quarter spears would be absolutely amazing. As for the textures, absolutely no complaints there. I'm over the moon with those. There's a big old selection made even more diverse by the ability to dye blocks. Everything joins together seamlessly. The only drawback is that the texture angle is currently locked to the world grid. This can cause a few strange effects when using brick textures in particular. We also can't see the texture on a block until it's placed, which I hope that we will be able to one day so as we can actually preview it and get everything properly lined up. As a side note, there are no additional terrain textures nor vegetation just yet, although we can now place the one tree model that we have. You'll need to chop down an existing tree to get a sapling, but in creative mode you only need one sapling to place as many as you like. Performance-wise, I don't know what magic has been done under the hood, but compared to the first iteration of the demo, everything has been so much smoother. I can fly around at max speed without stuttering, and even in the area where I've been building there is no slowdown that I've noticed. Aside from a couple of crashes on the first day that were addressed in a hotfix, I've had no issues. All the tools are working as intended, and to top it all off, things that would have taken hours to make now take minutes. So to wrap it all up, would I recommend this game? Short answer, hell yeah. If you're the kind of person who likes to build virtual worlds, it's almost as powerful as dedicated 3D software. But with the advantage of having all elements pre-textured, and a UI that doesn't make your head explode. If you're looking to smack things on the head with a big stick or shoot them in the balls, then currently this is the wrong place to be. There are no enemies or survival mechanics implemented yet, although they will be coming one day, and I reckon if the quality of the building and terrain tools are anything to go by, when such things are added, they will be awesome. Either way, it's well worth keeping an eye on this game. Anyhow, that's all for today, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As for me, I'm going to get back to a mix of building, binge watching anime, and stuffing my face with lovely food. Hopefully I shall see you for the next video. Toodle pip!